Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. So in today's video I wanted to show you how you can put dots or markers or stickers on your fingerboard so that you know where to put your fingers down. I always get a lot of questions on, how you put the dots on or how you put the stickers on, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in today's video, what you'll need, and it's a really simple process to do that. But before I do go into showing you how to do that, a lot of teachers are like me, and they do like you to have some sort of finger marking or something like that, some stickers or some dots, whatever you want to call it. A lot of teachers do teach with their students putting those dots or markers on the fingerboard, and a lot of teachers don't like it. I'm one of those teachers that do like having something on the fingerboard because I kind of feel that if you are someone who's completely new to music, for example, and a lot of people are, maybe you don't play another instrument or anything like that, it's a good way of training your fingers into going into exactly the place that they need to on the violin so that you always get good intonation. If you're coming from the guitar, for example, this is probably where you're going to suffer the most because guitarists are used to having those frets on their instrument, and on the violin, as you can see, there are no frets on here at all. The violin is also a lot smaller, so whereas you might be putting your chords down, you might have a good kind of inch also gap in between each of your fingers, you're not going to be doing anything like that in the violin because you're not going to be going down in chords. So your fingers are not going to be going down in kind of that kind of look when you're playing the chords. They're going to be going down a lot closer together, and the gaps are going to be a lot smaller. So learning where the fingers go on the violin is so important, and I don't care whether you play the guitar or not because it is a completely different process. I personally feel as a teacher that if a student doesn't know the sound of the notes, how are you supposed to teach yourself? You can't teach yourself something that you don't know. So I do like them. I don't like students to have them for a very long time. Maybe some students will have the stickers on for about 6 months to, a couple of years, and that's perfectly fine. But for me, having those dots there or those lines, markers, stickers will always give you perfect intonation. And I teach that in my 1 to 30 lessons, which I've got behind me. A lot of you watch my channel and watch a lot of videos, but don't actually know that I do a violin course as well. It's the only one like it on the internet. It's 100% downloadable, so there's nothing to ship. These are just books that I've just printed out on my home printer and just bound together. But you can buy them from my shop. I'll have all the links and all the details directly underneath. But as soon as you've purchased, the course is 100% downloadable. So this course is 30 lessons, and this course guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a very accomplished intermediate player. And that's 100% guaranteed, folks. I know it's a bold statement, and I always say that every time, but it's absolutely true. It's tried and tested many times. And why my course is different is because it teaches you skills. It teaches you the skills and the information and the knowledge and the theory so that you can go away and do whatever you want, whenever you want. I don't teach anybody by rote. You won't be doing any of that. You'll be doing all of the thought process yourself, all of the thinking yourself, and you'll know how to do everything yourself, completely unaided, no teacher, in the comfort of your own home. And that's why my course differs from, well, I would say anything else out there on the internet, but as far as I know, there isn't anything else out there on the internet like my course. So my course is going to give you the skills, the information, and the knowledge you need to go away and play, and look at any piece of music and play that. The first 10 lessons are absolutely free. So any of the PDFs or the resources or anything like that, they're all linked underneath the videos where appropriate. So the first 10 lessons is absolutely free. So you lose absolutely nothing by giving it a go. If you like the first 10 lessons and you like the progress you've made, you like me and you like the way I teach, hopefully you do, then you can go ahead and purchase the rest of the course. So it's a really good comprehensive course which guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a accomplished intermediate level. So that being said, in the first 10 lessons, in sort of lesson 2 or 3, I believe it is, I talk about putting some dots on the violin, but I'm just going to tell you how to do that for now. So what you will need is something like this. So you'll need some dots. I'll put a link underneath the description. You can get them from Amazon, any kind of stationery store, but I like to use little dots like this. If you don't have anything like that, you can use some masking tape. something like that. Or you can actually get strip kind of tape that kind of comes off, and it's about 1/2 centimeter kind of in width. And you will also need some sort of tuner as well, like this. This is the D'Addario Micro NS tuner. I like this over the other ones because it clamps onto the body of the violin, so it's a little bit more accurate. But you can use an app on your phone. You can use whatever you like really, but you will need a chromatic type tuner to help you put your fingers in the right place. So something like this, or a phone app, or whatever you've got. So after you've put your tuner on the violin, this one clamps onto the body, or you can get the ones that go on the pegs. They're not quite as accurate as these ones. But once you put your chromatic tuner on there, the first thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that your violin is perfectly in tune. If your strings are not in tune, you will not get these in tune. So your strings have to be perfectly in tune. I'm not going to tell you how to tune the violin. A lot of you already know how to do that, and I do have a separate video on that. But suffice to say, just however you want to do it, pluck the strings, use the pegs, or preferably the fine tuners if you've got them, and get your strings perfectly in tune. I cannot stress that enough. You've got to get these strings in tune, or the whole thing is just going to be, the whole thing's not going to be any good at all. But the next thing you're going to do is grab a sticker. It doesn't really matter which color you use. I'm just going to take a blue one. Now the next thing you're going to do is put your first finger on the A string, and you want to put that about 1 inch from the nut, or 1 inch from the top roughly. Then what you're going to do is pluck that string, and you're going to move your finger around until your chromatic tuner says it is a B. Now you can do this on the D string if you like, and in which case you're going to be plucking it until your tuner says it's an E. So just move your finger around until the tuner says it's an E if you're working on the D string, or a B if you're working on the A string. Now the reason why I choose either of those two strings in the middle is because I am using a little dot, and we're going to put that in the middle. So there isn't really any point in kind of plucking the E string and doing this if you're going to be putting the dot kind of right in the middle of the sort of the D and the A string. So either which one, it doesn't really matter. So I know that sounds right, but you'll want to look at your chromatic tuner and make sure that finger is perfectly in tune. You can do it by playing as well. Just plucking is just easier, because if you're playing, you've then got to take the violin down whilst keeping your finger all in tune. So once your finger is in that right place, then what you want to do is just slip the dot in. These dots come off super simple, by the way, so you don't have to worry, and that's it. So we've just pressed the dot down, and the dot is now sitting there. What I'm going to do now is just try it. So I'm going to put my finger on the E string, and if I pluck that, then my tuner will say that it's an F sharp. I'm going to do the same on the B string, pluck that, my tuner will say that it's a B. Then I'm going to do it on the the D string, and my tuner will say it's an E, and then I'm going to try it on the G string, and my tuner should say it is an A. If it's not right, then you'll just have to take the sticker off and just do it again. But it's really important that A, you make sure your strings are in tune, and B, you make sure that this is perfect. You don't want to be kind of half-assing anything. You need to make sure this is perfect, because this is the entire point of putting these dots, or these lines, or these strips. Okay, so the next one I like to do is the third finger. I only put dots on the first and the third finger because my course only teaches that. So if you've got the first and you've got the third finger dot, you can put any other fingers on the string accurately based on the first and the third finger. So for example, the second finger you'll learn goes either next to the first finger, which you know where it goes because you've got the blue dot, or the second finger goes right next door to the third finger, which will also be on the second dot we're going to put in just a second. The fourth finger will either go next to the third finger, or it'll sort of go a finger's width. Kind of, if I put my little finger in between there, it'll sort of go a finger's width apart. So this is why you don't need any more than 2 dots. So don't waste your time buying something like those don't fret stickers. I know I have used them many years ago in the past, maybe like in a video 8, 9, 10 years ago. But those are just quite annoying really, because they go all the way under the violin. I don't personally use them when I'm teaching. I don't use them when I'm teaching physical students here in my studio, and I don't teach them when I'm doing my online course. I only teach the dots, and I feel like those don't fret stickers are really no good as well, because they're confusing to me. And if I find them confusing, and I've been playing for 35 years, and I know that you guys are going to find them confusing as well. There's so many lines on them. There's no way that you can be playing and figuring out which line your finger's going to be going on. You're just setting yourself up for so many mistakes. So just use the first finger and the third finger. That is literally all you need. Don't put any other dots or tapes in any other places, because I'm telling you, you don't need them. And mainly this is the way that I teach. So if your teacher has told you something completely different, or you're learning from a different course, then, you know, that's up to you. But this is how I teach. And as I said, I like my students to do all of the thinking. I like them to engage their brain, not me engage my brain on their behalf, or have loads of stuff and loads of lines on the violin that means that they're just getting lazy and they're not learning. So we're going to do the third finger, and what you're going to want to do is sort of put your third finger maybe 1.5 inches away, just as a rough guide. We're going to check that in a second. And you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to put your third finger about 1.5 inches away from the blue dot to start with, and you're going to put it on the A string, and you're going to pluck it, and this here should give you a D. So keep plucking it and keep moving your finger until this confirms that you're on a D. Once you've done that, get another sticker. I advise you use a different colour. It's completely up to you. Obviously, if you've got them all the same colour, then that, you know, it doesn't really matter. But I just find a different colours it's just visually easier. It just sets it apart. Or you can use the D string, whichever is easier. I always find the A string a little bit easier to work with, because once you've put your finger there, you can kind of just move your finger away a little bit and sort of just replace the dot, stick the dot in, and there you go. That's where your 2 dots are. And then I would just check it. So put your third finger on the E string. That should give you an A according to this. Then put your third finger on the A string, and that should give you a D. Put your third finger on the D string, and that should give you a G. And then put your third finger on the G string, and that should give you a C. If it's not giving you those, or it's, you know, it's ever so slightly out, then remove the dot and get another one. Once you've removed these dots, you know, just get another one, but you'll have loads on those sheets. So that's how you put the dots on the violin. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you want to have a go at my 1 to 30 violin course, first 10 lessons are absolutely free. The links are going to be underneath. You won't regret it. Best course out there. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.